later stage, or even immediately afterwards, let me start by saying good morning and to it. This is Chess and Wine. But then obviously, I'm just going to say good morning to the individual that comes in first when there's already somebody on the chat or on the, what is this? What do you call this? On the live to speak to say, hey. Yeah, and I'm actually doing this because somebody asked, Adi, I mean, actually, a lot of people ask, you've been quiet for a while, it's concerning. I'm like, you should be concerned. You should be. Nah, everybody has to be concerned when Eddie's quiet. I mean, but I have to be quiet just to allow you, chess community members, to make up your own minds about things, to think about things, to evaluate situations, and look at what's been going on now through your own eyes. Introspect, just like I've been doing as well, right? Like I've been doing some introspections as well, just looking at the things that I've been saying. And I'm feeling like I'm already repeating a whole lot of things. I'm saying things that I have already said a number of times before. So just to get away from this state of repetition where I'm talking about issues that I've spoken about before over and over again. I feel like, because it seems like it's always the same issues. It's always the same challenges. And if I want to focus, if I'm going to focus on the same challenges, I'm going to end up repeating myself over and over again. So it's best I just refer you back to some old videos. You see, there's already somebody. Hey, good morning and welcome to it. But yeah, so yeah, man, like I just had to take the time out, introspect, and allow you to introspect. See, now you've been allowed to introspect. You've been allowed to not just introspect, but also look at the what this chess community, whether from your local region, from your province, even from your club, like from your area, municipality, wherever you are, if you're actually that member. If you've been following, I'm sure that a lot of people have been inspired, involved through, whether it's through their regions or through their, what do we call this? Their clubs, local clubs. Some have already created their own clubs, which is very interesting. Because for some places, if you need to have a voice, that's basically where it needs to start. But yeah, we're just gonna have this live for a very long short period. Let me see if I'm going to be able to see the chats. I wish to be able to see the chats because, again, I wish to be able to see some messages. Aha. And then be able to respond to them. Because I'm thinking that there's people that may have some questions. Let me just ask my friend here so that he can just read some of the questions for me. If anybody has any question for me going forward, like if any question comes, and because I intend to now go back to interviewing people and allow them to speak for themselves instead of me speaking for them, because it seems like I've been saying things, a whole lot of things, on behalf of people, that it seems like now it's just me expressing my own feelings, and it's always just about me, but it's not. It's just issues or things I've seen and things I hear people complaining about or crying about, which is crazy, man. But yeah, so it's just it's a hi, Santosh. You're new here from India. Welcome. Yeah, we are in South Africa, and chess is I mean India. Sorry, it's a chess powerhouse. So if you're from India, well, yeah, we are in your community, and we envy you. But yeah, so obviously the main issues that I've always been discussing or been addressing or been exposing are chess issues, mainly in South Africa and the provinces and the regions. But that was not the whole intention. It's just that when certain things come out, you can't ignore them, especially when you're a member of this community and you feel like people are giving you a voice because of the platform that you've created. And through that created platform, that voice gets to have, I don't know, it gains weight the more it goes on because the issues, so you sort of have to address certain issues, you sort of have to expose certain issues so that everybody feels heard. Because we have an issue where the elected people feel like they are the elites, the ones, the ones at the, I don't know, that have to be now, what's the word? Ish. Not necessarily just, not just praised, but hey, Chennai City. Man, I remember there was an Olympiad that was hosted in Chennai. That's Santoshi from Chennai. Shout out to you. But yeah, basically, just to remind the leaders, the elected leaders, that they are not the, I don't know, spill coffee on myself. The what, the who that they make themselves out to be. And always remember to serve, to look at, and just, I don't know, just remember that they're elected to serve the interests of the players primarily. Yeah, and the structure secondary, right? Because the structure has to represent the players. So yeah, and then so it's just that way. So I was hoping that I'm able, like, if I get obviously in the platform some people that have seen the issues surrounding my suspension from what is it? Was it from Puma? See, it's so crazy from Pumalanga Chess, and then we can just speak on that. In fact, just address that and just address some of the questions that people may have heard. If you have seen that there's been a suspension letter that has been issued by Pumalanga Chess suspending ADP, me, the presenter of Chess and Wine, yes, the show, and the reasons are just unclear. I mean, I don't know, but I think I've shared the letter. The letter has been made public, right? So they've said they've done that. They've obviously implemented the suspension through the instruction from Chess South Africa. So through Chess South Africa's instruction, they decided that they were gonna suspend me because I referred to some players as weak. Yes, kids, in fact, the players as weak. So I don't know. So instead of saying players are weak, which is something that I never did, by the way, which I'm not quite sure where I stand on whether you can call players weak or not, because players are always it's a thing in chess. That's why there's even a term for it, to call players, the weak players, weak, right? Like that's why there's terms for it. Why would it be even part of the what is the let me just say the language, because like I feel like some of these terms just escape me whenever I come to but anyway, we know of terms like patsa, we know terms like wood pusher, we know of terms like I don't like eh. So it's just crazy. This is a whole lot. We have such terms in our chess vocab, which means you may refer to certain players who are 7 day players, that hey, you are a 7 days player, man. Like, 7 days makes a week and all of that. So yeah, you may say, you 7 day players, they like pretending as if they know everything. They know nothing. So yeah, so as a result of that, there was an outcry that was created, led by some members of the executive of Chess South Africa, who obviously masqueraded the issue to be around me referring to certain players, junior players, as weak, and moving for me to remove the video from the platform on YouTube, and for me to be removed from all social communications within chess in South Africa. In fact, trying to mobilize for my ostracization. I don't even know how that should be put. I don't know how that should be framed. Yeah, just trying to mobilize for that, right? And it's so interesting because when you do something, when your enemies see you doing something that's like shooting yourself in the foot, they don't normally move for you to remove that thing. They'd rather you, that thing or that whatever thing that you did in the public, to remain, that they would rather for it to remain in the public, right? So that the more people see that, the more it becomes difficult for you to remain in the community. You see what I mean? Instead of them saying, just remove that quickly. So the people that will tell you to remove that quickly will be the people that actually care for you. Because, oh, Eddie, that's going to hurt you. Please remove that. But when you find the people that are your, what do you mean? What do you call them, Gambit? The people that are against what you're doing, being the ones to say, remove that video, you're doing this and that, it kind of raises a question. What is your reason for saying that I must remove that video, right? So yeah, so you kind of think like maybe there's something in there that they don't want for people to see, and that is why they are quickly moving for that video to be removed and for you to be removed, so that these issues are never spoken about ever again. Yep. So that means now people must go back and watch the video. And when they do that, they will realize that the video, which everybody is against, which everybody has actually started a whole movement through, is actually doing more than just referring to players' performances, but it's also pointing out or exposing some players that have come in to the tournament through some what do we call these ways? They've been mostly referred to as the backdoor entries, which are the entries that not a lot of people have been aware of. Since not that it's not an entry, but it's an entry, it's there and people see it. So through that, and yeah, so maybe the video is just showing or exposing certain things that people did not want for others to see, for most people to be aware of, and start the conversation on. So some people are very smart, right? Like they know how to sort of control the narrative, control the conversation around the community. So when the conversation was meant to be, as the video was intending, for people to speak about the people that have been the players that were not performing well and how they got into the African Youth Chess Championships, the conversation became about the fact that those kids have been referred to as worst performing. You see what I mean? But then again, when propaganda starts and it's thrown at you and you don't get a chance to think for yourself, you don't get to look at such things and see. Because if you look carefully, then you will see that the children of those people that were making those movements, those accusations, though, that were most of them who were actually publicly outraged by the fact that some kids were called weak, and even though kids were not called weak, I just keep reiterating this, that I did not call any child weak in the video. It is a thing of people now looking at a way of protecting their own skins and thinking, all right, we need to get this out of the way. How do we? It's like there's some smart within Chess South Africa. There's some smart PRO people, but then they've taken some positions which are not related to being a PRO. Right? They've taken some positions which are just hey, and they do well when they play PRO just to protect themselves and their families. So that's the difference. So that's basically how it happened, right? So that happened. And later then on that day, I get a call from some people from Mpumalanga Chess saying, hey, bro, we've got an issue here. We've got a pressure from Chess South Africa, and they're saying we must act on this and we must suspend you or something. We were thinking it's best that we suspend you. We just don't want you finding out in public, but we must issue this suspension letter. But yeah, we'll deal with this. I don't know. No, it's so funny because it just kind of reminded me of an issue one time. But there's some issues that people don't need to talk about, like some issues that don't need to be made public. I remember this one time at university, right? Like I was a student at the University of Johannesburg, but then I was staying in Braamfontein, so I'm far from my university. So I needed to use a computer and internet. So I went to the University of Witwatersrand, and yeah, using a friend's, my roommate's student card. So I go in there to go into the computer center. I use the computers, and the security guards from there come in and they find me and they ask me, can we please see your student card? Or maybe they could tell that I'm not from the university because I kept looking around because I knew that I was not allowed to use another student's student card. But we thought, we're students. So anyways, it's not like I'm here to do anything sinister. I'm just researching for my paper. So when the guy when the security guards catch me, so what happens is they take me to their control room and they tell me to call my friend and let him know that I've been caught with the student card and he has to come and take the fall. He's going to get suspended and so forth and so forth. I'm like, I am not doing that. I'm like, no, but he has to come here. Otherwise, we're gonna call the cops on you and say that you stole it and have you charged for fraud. I'm like, what will happen to him if obviously he comes and he accepts that he actually lended me his student card? And like he knows, I mean, the rules have been explained to him. So if he lended me his student card, he's the one that's going to get into trouble. So he's going to get suspended, expelled, and things like that. I'm like, oh, then I can't do that. I'm like, if you can't do that, then that means you're the one that's getting arrested. I'm like, but I can't get arrested for using a student card, a friend's student card. But then I show them, I'm also a student. Here's my student card from UJ. And I was here to do this and this. But it doesn't matter. You know, when you find those so hard-headed security guards, but again, they're just stiffler for rules and policies, and maybe trying to make them their names through their work or whatever. But yeah, really can't blame them for my wrong, which is obviously the same thing that I'm saying for the Mpumalanga chess guys. So what happened now after that is they actually call the cops, and the cops get there. They're like, don't worry about this. This is easy. Let's just go to the police station. It's going to be a matter that we resolve quickly. I'm like, but they're like, no, don't worry about it, man. You're a student. This is a student thing. Let's go. I'm relaxed. So they kind of make me relax so that I get into the car, the police car willingly and all of that. I go in with them. I go through. I go along with the arrest. Easy, hassle free, smart way, right? So I'm thinking, but when we get there, they change the story. I'm like, hey, these vets people are very tough, man. Hey, they actually want to press charges, and there's nothing we can do. I'm like, so does that mean that I get arrested? They're like, hey, there's nothing we can do, man. Sorry. Then it kind of dawns on me, snap. I trusted these cops for when they told me that it was nothing. I should have fought this thing while we were there. Maybe if I knew I had a choice back then, I would have I would have called my friend and then we discussed the way out of this, a way through. But yeah, but again, just through that, I'm thinking now again, that call from that friend, from that guy from Mpumalanga Chess, letting me know, no, don't worry about this. We got this under control. It was just one of those, it was just a similar approach as the approach by the policeman back in at Verts. When they wanted me to go along with the suspension without causing a hoo-ha immediately. They were smart about it. They're like, don't worry about it. We'll handle it. I'm like, no, I'm not worried. Then it's fine. If you promise that it's not going to be a big deal, then it's not going to be a big deal. I'm not going to fight it. Then we go on. I go along with it. I see that no, man, these people don't know what they're doing because now they are publishing that they're suspending me. Now it's becoming an issue, and they're not. Hey, and again, that's definitely something that I don't agree with. That I've been suspended for because I feel like I've been suspended for something that really isn't clear. Yeah, bro. Sorry about that. So basically, the suspension, basically, how are we talking about this thing? Let's see. Basically, Mpumalanga Chess is a dead structure that has been non-existent for 4 years. I think their very first, or maybe second, their very first, in fact, serious issue or matter that they had to deal with was a suspension. And it's so funny, they're suspending me from a structure they haven't been there. That hasn't been there. That hasn't done anything for chess for 4 years. And in fact, I've done more for Mpumalanga Chess than Mpumalanga Chess as a structure in the past 4 or 5 years. And their first call of action, what do they call this thing? Their first act in office, in fact, they were not even in office when they were suspending me. Was to suspend me though, as an interim, but suspending me from something that is not there, which they are still restructuring to create. They're structuring themselves as a structure to create this something, which for now is nothing, and I'm suspended from nothing. Because in fact, by the time the suspension letter came through, Mpumalanga Chess was something that a lot of people were getting used to the idea of its existence. Like, oh, we've got a structure again. Mpumalanga Chess is coming up again. Oh, Mpumalanga Chess and all of that. You see what I mean? So I'm like, hey, what am I suspended from? From chess play, because I'm a chess player, right? Am I suspended from chess arbitration because I'm an arbiter? Am I suspended from chess coaching? because I'm a coach. I coach. Am I suspended from? Because I'm not even a chess streamer. Like, am I suspended from YouTube, from my YouTube chats to speak about chess? It doesn't even make sense, right? Because you suspending me from something that I was doing while we can actually refer to this as work, right? I did while I was at work, and you're suspending me from a structure that did not give me that is not even involved in my. They didn't give me permission. I did not approach them for permission for rights. You see now, if I had signed some rights of practice or rights of whatever with Mpumalanga Chess, then Mpumalanga Chess would have a right to suspend me, right? Like what? Like people don't even understand suspension. Like what's my affiliation with Mpumalanga Chess? Because Mpumalanga Chess is a structure. Even if Mpumalanga Chess as a structure existed as a structure, but what agreements do I have with Mpumalanga Chess? You see what I mean? So it's like at that point where you're thinking, you were suspended from nothing, by nothing or by nobody. But obviously they soon will become somebody. And when they become somebody, they say, as soon as we become a structure, we're gonna deal with this, and it's gonna be what do we call yesterday's news. But the funny thing about puppetry is that when you are a puppet, you don't decide what the next move is going to be, what the next act is going to be. When you're being told by somebody to enact something, to suspend, you wait for the other person. So they thought they were in control as Mpumalanga, but they were not. The people that were in control were actually the people that told them to issue the suspension. But the people that told them to issue the suspensions were also not certain what this matter was meant, how far this matter was going to go along, or what the next outcome would have been, or what are the procedures for suspending. Because then afterwards, everybody's like, no, we still need to try and find out what the procedure is meant to be, because we don't want to do this thing the wrong way. We don't want to leave it open again, and then it comes back again after a couple of. It was just a crazy matter. And I'm speaking like this because even right now, as we speak, that is still a matter under review in a way, right? So I may say it is still a matter under review because Mpumalanga just wrote a letter saying that I have violated some safeguarding principles. Safeguarding principles which they, as Mpumalanga Chess, have never published anywhere, have never spoken to the public community about, have never addressed, have never trained coaches, players, administrators on. They have never done anything regarding safeguarding principles. And yet they want to hold the chess community accountable for the safeguarding principles, which they have never done anything to address, to train, to teach, to... You see what I mean? Hey, coach, when you coming to UMP again? I can come to UMP next week. But basically, yeah, so that's just a comment from the chat. So basically, Mpumalanga Chess is issuing a suspension. It's like, me and reading. Because yesterday I remember reading this issue about parenting, where this parent says that one day they found their child scratching their car, the 3-year-old scratching their car, and when they came, they were shocked to find that the child was actually writing some arts on the door of the car, right? Like scratching it though, seriously. And they wanted to just scream at the child or just punish the child. They just remembered, snap, I've never really taught this kid about how to behave around the car, or the value of the paint on the car, or what to and not to do around the car. So actually, I don't have a right to actually smack my kid or punish my kid for something that I've never taught them. So maybe this is now a teaching opportunity, right? So they came, and obviously that parent decided to come and then hug the kid and say, oh, that's a beautiful artwork, my son. Wow, you've got a talent. But remember, please, next time, not on the car, okay? We must do it on the board. We must do it on the wall. We must do it on this. So now from Mpumalanga Chess now, instead of saying, oh, snap, that's something we forgot to teach to train or to alert our community about. This video by Eddie actually just made us aware of the importance of teaching people about the safeguarding principles. No, they decide we're going to make an example out of you. How do you make an example out of somebody when you've never trained them or taught them not to do certain things, right? Like it just doesn't make sense. But I mean, again, it's not about science when you're a puppet. Like puppetry it's really a tricky thing, because the people that wanted Mpumalanga Chess to suspend actually knew that it's crazy to suspend for something that someone did not sign for. It's crazy to suspend someone for something that you'd never trained them for, taught them about, and so forth. So I'm thinking there are so many issues, pertinent issues surrounding the suspension. But hey, everybody just decided that, hey, because again, and I'm thinking, it's, you see, when things like this come to people that have always had it for you, because again, for speaking the truth, I hear that I've got a lot of enemies than friends in the chess community. But again, if it's fake people, if it's people that are in it for their own personal interests and they are not my friends, I should be okay with it, right? Because otherwise, if they are my friends and they are like those type of people, then I'm going to end up being like them. And that's not something I would like. I wouldn't want to be like them. So basically, and I'm saying this because I'm reminded of the first time I got suspended from a chess community. It's so funny because how these things have always happened. It's just they happen in a way that is, it's very exposing, man. It just exposes these people when they are, and they have funny motives. So the first time I got suspended was in, I don't think it was 2015, 2016, right? From Ehlanzeni Chess region. Now, I was obviously a player in Ehlanzeni Chess. That made sense. So the Ehlanzeni Chess was obviously a proper existing committee, functional. We had events, we had selections, we had tournaments. And I think at some point I was the regional champion for chess, regional chess champion in Ehlanzeni region. So this one time, right, it happens that in Ehlanzeni, I'm just going to tell you a story quickly, a very funny story of how I got suspended for the first time in Ehlanzeni. I think I'm going to keep this video for this reason. So this one time, this happens. I actually we get an opportunity as a region, right? Like there's this provincial and actually a national teams chess championship where regions, as it provinces, yeah, I think it was actually regions had to, it's an open team, senior teams, which is actually could include seniors and open players. So what happened was there was an opportunity for regions to send players to a national chess championship where all expenses were paid, which was very unusual. So all expenses were paid for all of the players. The regions just needed to select the most deserving players. Wow, big opportunity. So what needed to be done? We didn't know what to do. It was the first time and it was exciting, but what happened is luckily we had an executive, and through that executive, I remember there was Fumi Maluleka, who's the current Ehlanzeni Chess president and the current elected Mpumalanga Chess president as well. At the time, I think he was a deputy president. So he says, there's a very big opportunity as well, because he was a player as well among all of us. Yes, when we're talking, and he says, you know what we're going to do, because this is a very big opportunity and we need to have a proper representation. We'll start a WhatsApp group and we'll discuss some ideas. And he actually does that. He starts a WhatsApp group, very progressive, right? Yeah, he starts a WhatsApp group. He adds all of the players, the active players. And we're discussing ideas with all of the players there. And we're thinking maybe there should be a selection tournament. It's like, yeah, that sounds like a very smart idea. But I don't know if we have enough time. But we can look into that. Because, seriously, I think that at that time it was the time of Banele Mango's come up. I think Banele Mango and Adolf Kosi were the two, and they were from Sokwa, but they were my boys, my players, the kids I taught. And they were like the two prominent players in the region, but they were juniors, right? And I was also there. And there was also Dumisa Nkosi, but Dumisa Nkosi was also a member of the executive committee of Ehlanzeni Chess. And there was Dr. Jan van Reitenberg. I just don't remember his surname correctly. There was him as well. So there was a whole lot of players, a whole lot of good players. And we're discussing ideas on how we could do that. Yeah, the tournament is meant to be happening within a week from then, right? Like, I think we had enough time. We had like 8-9 days to come up with ideas of selections. We wait, obviously, Fumi Maluleka comes back into the group. Yeah, don't worry. We're actually coming, I'm actually presenting some ideas. We're having a meeting tomorrow with the executive of the region. And we're like, okay, great. then we will wait upon you to actually hear what decision comes, because definitely these players, even if it's just selection based on the top rate, the top five rated players, because I think they needed five players or four, yeah, it's still fine. Now, if I remember correctly, it was for the province instead of a region. So yes, we all agree. Yes, we wait. Friday comes, we still don't hear anything, and then on Saturday morning, I log onto Facebook. I see a post by it was by Magdalene Dore, I think, if I remember correctly. I'll just see if I can go to her profile, it'll show. And she was she a secretary of Mpumalanga Chess or something at the time? She was also involved. And it says the team, the Mpumalanga Chess team for the national team's chess championship. And it shows a picture of the players. And in those pictures, there's Fumi Maluleka, there's Dumisa Nkosi, there's, I think there was Marco Kutlase as well, somewhere in there. There's Dr. Breitenbach as well there. Yeah, it's Jan Breitenbach. And then she herself there. And out of shock, I respond to the group, how come? How do we already have a team of representing Mpumalanga in the nationals when we are still waiting for feedback from you, from Maluleka, on this issue? We were waiting to hear from you on what exactly, what were the selection criteria to be chosen, right? Because by any selection criteria, you yourself, from Maluleka, I think he's the only person that we had an issue with. You yourself, by any merit, could not make it in that team. Whether it's on rating, it's on strength, it's on previous tournament performance, there is no way that you could have made it in that team. How are you now part of that team? And there's no responses. Eddie, wait, we'll discuss this thing. And actually, there was no response on the group, on the WhatsApp, on the what do we call this? On the On the Facebook, yes, comment. But it just started some discussions from other people, also an outcry of like, how were we not selected? Why were we not aware of this, right? So I continue asking, is this a player's team or is this an administrator's team? Because all I see in there are just the administrators of chess in the province. So are they now qualifying to represent us players, right? So I just continue asking those questions, and they don't answer these questions, and they just come on private messages. Eddie, but you did not have to, actually, in groups, in WhatsApp groups, I think in the Atlanzani group, you did not have to comment on that, like on publicly, on the Facebook, right? You should have spoken to us about this in public. I'm like, you should have notified us of this privately first before you made it public. But then instead of blaming Magdalene Dore for who actually posted the picture and made that public announcement before making this announcement to us in the groups where we've been chatting with them, they decided to blame me. And a week later, I received a suspension letter as well. Or maybe a few days later from that. So I received a suspension, which means now I can't go to the tournaments of Tanzania chess. You see what I mean? So, like, the suspensions in chess, they always come as a result of you exposing. So what the suspension letter said is that holding the name of chess in disrepute or something like that. I'm like, what disrepute? Because when you become aware of something in public, then you respond to it in public, then you obviously react to it in public. So why should we react privately for something that we've seen publicly? Right? So yeah, so that was the first time I got suspended. But then now, again, Fumi Maluleka is the president of Mpumalanga Chess, as the common factor of all my suspensions is Fumi Maluleka. It's so crazy. So now he's in office again, and I get another suspension letter. Go figure. So it's so crazy, man. But yeah, but again, this suspension is hanging because the puppet busters are still unclear on how this suspension needs to be handled. And they are still busy trying to handle it. But anyways, I've been speaking for so long. Let me just take some questions. I'm going to take some questions right now. I'll wait for questions. But if I wait for questions, I don't know how long I'll have to wait. There's Chris the cat is the fastest cat ever, who kind of made some comments about me being drunk, even though I'm drinking coffee. Stop, you are drunk. You are drunk. I am not drunk. Shut. Bro, I'm not talking to you. Also, they still do that. So this guy, who's his name? Santosh thought he was talking to him, but he's actually talking to me. Hey, then. Okay, here's an actual question now from Just Randy's. It's like, is there money in chess politics? Be honest, bro. You know what? Honestly, Randy's, I believe that there is money in chess administration. You know why? In fact, I'm going to give you a few examples of why I believe that there is money. And maybe because of why I know there is money. Because in chess, it's like there is no money for players. Because it's like people are trying to discourage. You know, when you're trying to make a sport elitist, it's like how they tried to actually keep many players out of chess or out of development through sport by ensuring that there is no money, meaning there is not incentives for the players, but there is incentives for the administrators. Because when they administer it, they now administer it for the privileged. Because the privileged will not need the prize money to be encouraged and motivated to play, right? And the fact that with chess, especially, it continues to be like that. That's why you get people hosting tournaments without prizes or without advertising prizes because they look to making profits for themselves or for the structure, or they claim that for the structure because through the structure they get to benefit from it. There's a lot of money, there's a lot of exposure that you get from it, and there's a lot of opportunities that you can get for those around you. So a lot of people are doing it. Number one, as we've seen again with the recent activities, especially with the kids of the Chess South Africa administrators getting to play the South African Junior Closed Chess Championships without qualification. And some of them getting to play the African Youth Chess Championships without qualifications. See, these are opportunities that are worth a lot of money. That's number one, right? The opportunities are worth a lot of money, but then they get to actually have their 7 days kids, 7 days players, kids playing 7 days. Yeah, who are getting opportunities to play. While in fact, what are they doing? They are taking those opportunities away from the players who are very deserving in terms of skill, in terms of strength, in terms of everything else but the financial affordability. So that's number one, right? And number two, those funds that are there in the coffers of the structures are for use by those administrators at their own discretion, as long as they agree that we can travel to. There's a whole lot of traveling involved, right? And those traveling opportunities are what some people can't afford holidays. I mean, a lot of us can't afford holidays. So some holidays for us are basically just travel, right? So holidays are worth a lot of money. So for those that can afford to always spend their own money on travels and accommodations and all that, and touring and all that, so that money is there. So it's like their personal bank accounts that is just for them to move around. So yeah, but now here's another thing. In our club, in our local club, I'm sure it's something that is happening even in regions. There is people that have access to funds through the companies that they work for, the companies that they work with, or some friends who have money, right? So those people or those friends cannot release the funds to their friends without their friends having something that they're doing. Like for instance, if I have a rich friend, right, or a friend that has a business, and I have say for instance, a chess club, I'm part of a chess club, or a regional administration, I can always write a letter. Now, I'm actually speaking from what is it from experience here. So we have this in this club of ours. Let me just adjust this. Otherwise, I'm not going to see many of these questions. My garage. So yeah. Mbombela Chess Club. I was the secretary of Mbombela Chess Club. Had a treasurer who had some connections to some people with funds, right? So he wrote letters to those people with funds requesting that they sponsor an event, and those people sponsored the event, but the event's money, the sponsorship money, did not go into the account of the club. Instead, it went into the pocket of the treasurer. So what the treasurer did was just to announce that we've got a sponsorship of about 30 to 40,000 rand to do a tournament. So we can just plan around the tournament. So we're asking, why isn't that money sent into the club account then, so that we can work around money, the funds that we know? And he's like, no, don't worry about it. It's there. It's in the. They've already sent it to me, so we can plan around it. We'll have prizes for the players and so forth. But then, how can we be sure that the money is there? I'm like, no, man, you can trust me. The money is there, right? So now that money being in the, yeah, no, it just opens a whole lot of questions. So basically, a lot of people have access to funds, but then in order to access those funds, they need certain letters or certain documents from such organizations as your chairs structures, whether it's regions, province, or federation. Yes. And I know some people that go around asking for sponsorship in the name of a club with some, I don't know, with money bags. Like, hey, you can just donate here, right? And when those donations come through, you don't know where they're going afterwards, or maybe not even all of it gets declared. Again, we've had some people who were like dedicated to raising funds for the club for the whole year, and they've never even once came in to report that they've made they've received certain donations of how much. Because the only time those donations will need to be declared is when the funders would want to put it into the club's account or the region's account. But as long as the funds are somewhere in the pockets of anybody, yeah, there's money. And again, another thing, as you know, with politics, votes are for sale. We've been hearing stories of people being bought to vote for certain candidates, for whether for FIDE positions or whether for CHESA positions or whether for provincial positions. So they were like, especially I just saw someone from Chennai there, like in the Africa Chess group, there's always a whole lot of dirt being thrown that like certain federation leaders sold their votes, their African votes, to some European candidates when they needed to vote for an African candidate for a position in FIDE. And they made a lot of money for it. And there are rumors about here, even in South Africa, where certain leaders were receiving some funds internationally, like going straight to them and saying, here's some money, you do some different programs in your community. But you must remember that when it's time for voting, you vote for, or we will tell you who to vote for. So basically, people are selling votes as well when they are at the top there as administrators. So some of them are just sticking there because of the chances to go to Chennai, or because of the votes that they're going to be selling, or because of the funds that they access through the structure that they're a part of, and they get to keep the funds for themselves. So basically, there is money. And other ways, maybe it's there are ways that I don't know about. And you know what the funny thing is? There's another way. I've been hearing about these ones, this one way as well, where apparently in tournaments, these people that are running tournaments, they always say cash payments at the venue on the day of the tournament. So when people come in, let's say they get 100 players paying 100 rand each, 100 players paying 100 rand each, I think that's 10,000 rands, right? In cash. So the treasurer and the chairperson, for some that didn't know this, I'm giving them ideas, but for some that knew it, they have been doing this for a while. So there's people that have been doing this for a while, where now from that 10,000 rand that they've received, they only declare 7,000 and then claim that certain players played for free. Certain players didn't pay, certain players didn't. Then the other amount, they keep it for themselves. The other amount, they claim that they... So basically, again, with the tournaments running, with the running of the tournaments, that is why most of these federations don't accept it. Not that they don't accept it, but they encourage paying cash at the venue. Because if the money is sent into the federation's bank account, then again, before they use it, then obviously it'll have to go through the committee, and it'll have to be, obviously... It'll leave, what do we call this thing? What do you call this trails, man? Yeah, that way. But then if they run tournaments and the payments are cash payments at tournaments, then it leaves a lot of room for people to actually, man, money is very tempting. But yeah, so it's there. So definitely there is money in chess administration. So that question I feel has been answered. I don't know. How do you feel about that, Just Rendis? Have you been answered? If you have been answered, I'm going to wait for another question. Is there any other question? It could be about anything. I think I'm going to stop this at an hour. Yeah, because now we're at 45 minutes. So just another 15 minutes before I stop this. And for those that still want to watch it, I'll just upload it and leave it there for people to see it. But anyway, it's past 12, so I can start drinking wine, right? Any other question? Let me see. Just Rendis. Who is Just Rendis? Chess coach from Polokwane. Thanks to your channel, I'm getting interesting insights. Oh, Just Rendis, you're very welcome, Just Rendis. Remember to subscribe. I'm sure you already subscribed. But if you haven't, also remember to become a paying member from 30 rands a month. You see, those 30 rands, they add up to something. And then this chess and wine thing could be I don't know what it could be, but it could be a source of income. Or it could be sustainable. I think the word is sustainable. There's Bojanala Chess Federation as the comment. Bojanala Chess Federation is a member. Look at that star next to the name there. It says, you went quiet for a while. Are you okay? And have you been intimidated? I live on intimidations. I get intimidated all the time. You know what? I have actually heard that the people that I was trusting or that claimed that I should trust them to handle my suspension at Mpumalanga Chess are now starting to feel powerless. Or some of them actually decided that, you know what, maybe this is an opportunity to get rid of Eddie for good, because most of these people have been wanting to get rid of me. So apparently in some of the meetings that they've been having, they just decided, you know what, let's just throw Eddie under the bus and get this thing over with. So I haven't been intimidated, but I've been made aware of the fact that the people I was deciding to trust are not to be trusted. But I've always known that there's a lot of people that don't want me here, because I always expose things that people don't want to have exposed. So yeah, so being aware of such things, having such, hey, it kind of made me realize, man, like, hey, I don't know what I'm going to say, but yeah. So I've been quiet because I've been trying to realign myself. Because again, I feel like even focusing more on this negative people that have nothing to contribute to chess, but just to do for themselves as they've been doing, it's again there that destroying, because it's taking away the attention from the things that need attention, which is the players, which is maybe the administrators that are doing good. Like, we've been focusing so much on the administrators that are doing bad. So yeah, I've been quiet because I've been just thinking that maybe it's time to re-strategize. Like, maybe again, the focus should be on speaking to players, speaking to members of the chess community. And again, I intend to speak to now every and any player, even 1100 rated chess player, because again, their experience is also very important. It's very crucial, because they are an equal member of the chess community, just like the 2000s and the 2100s and so forth. So I think speaking only to the 2200s and the so I'll just speak to the people that are struggling, because maybe they've got some insights on as to why they are where they are, like, and speak for themselves as to the challenges that they're facing. I've been made aware of another issue in the Western Cape. And what region, Gambe? So that's when I started to feel like there are too many issues, and if I try to focus only on them, I'm going to get drained. There is issues everywhere. Apparently, there is some people that are stopping elections in some regions around the country because their people are not legible to stand for elections. So there's a region in the Western Cape where they were meant to be having elections in April, But just the day before they held the elections, and at night they get a call from somebody in the province, whether it was the president of the province at the time, letting them know that, hey, we think you must. I think that president was also the elections officer, and they get a call telling them, yeah, obviously they get a call from the elections officer, which is the president of the province, saying to them, hey, please put the elections for tomorrow on hold. We'll let you know when you can continue, but you cannot have the elections tomorrow. But when they say why, they're saying there are some issues that still need to be resolved. When they do their own investigation as the region, they find that these people actually wanted so and so to stand for president. And then since that person is under suspension for something that he has done or accused of having done, he can't stand for president. And they want the case of that other person to get lifted before, so that the person is eligible for elections again before the elections can continue. I'm like, hey, yeah, there's just too much happening. And that is why I just read this question at the top there asking if there's money in shares. I'm thinking there is definitely money. Because again, here's another reason, just read this, that I failed to mention to you. So basically, this actually came from that communication with the people from the Western Cape, where these people at the top of the province, they want to force regions to appoint certain people, their own friends, to become arbiters at events. And remember, arbiters are paid. Organizers are paid in some spaces of tournaments. And caterers are paid. So basically, even if there's no money that you get directly, you control money, which is renders. And when you control money, you actually can make money from that money that you're controlling. So you get your friend. And again, that was the concern in the Western Cape, where they're saying they wanted us to have so-and-so as the arbiter for the event. And that man charges exorbitantly. He like charges 5,000 rand to for a tournament. Sorry. So yeah, basically, so their issue was mainly that the person that they wanted to have as an arbiter charges too much to run a tournament as an arbiter, when they have a person that they can simply pay 1,500 rand to, and he'll be okay with it. So they like, instead of paying so and so, they are 5,000. We want to have our own arbiter. But these people know that they're forcing you to use that person that charges 5,000 rand, because they know from that 5,000, they're getting two. So again, that is another way you get money from chess. There is money in chess administration, money in chess politics, just renders. The more ways, I think the things can just keep coming up. So yeah, so I mean, I've been made aware of such things. So yeah, is there any other question? We are at 52 minutes. Yeah, so general chess, yes, no. Oh yes, I have been intimidated a number of times, but I'm a grown man. Like you see, I've got beards. Some of them are already turning white, so I don't really mind intimidation. But I mean, yeah. Any other question on the floor? And yes, I'm okay. Snap, I forgot that part of the question. Am I okay? Wow, we forget to ask that. We forget to ask ourselves that question. Am I okay, though, really? Am I okay? Whew. Am I okay? No, I am not okay. No, why I'm not okay? Because the people that I've been fighting, it seems like, no, in fact, I have not underestimated their powers, but I just don't care about their powers, but I have to care about their powers. So it finds that they are locking my income streams left, right, and center. Yes, you see, they are trying to render me buyable. See, when people stop your streams of income, they stop you from making money. So they're stopping, because I'm selling books, right? So I've got books that I sell that you can check out on, I think some links. Again, you can buy those books and then fund me so that I don't get bored. Or you can obviously become a member and pay, and then that way I will not get bored. So they're kind of trying to render me buyable, because when you need, then it's easy for them to come on the side and say, here's what we have on offer for you, and so forth and so forth. So basically, there's a company that I was working with as a brand ambassador that was paying me good, and it seems like these people have gone to speak to that company, and they have just ruined my reputation through that company. And like this company is like, hey, it's having trouble because of the things that, yeah, maybe that company has been intimidated. I haven't been personally intimidated, but it seems like there are some people that have intimidated. Yeah, I've been told not to work with me. So yeah, wait. So there's a question from Just Renders. It says, "Do you have a philosophy?" But it says a philosophy. Philosophy does not have a Y. It has only a Y at the end. It's like, yeah. Do you have philosophy? Do you have a philosophy you live by? Because you can just eat with the corrupt. Oh, snap. No, man, definitely. How? What's integrity? Because again, the thing is, you gotta have some integrity as a person. But in a man that stands for anything. That's a man that stands for nothing falls for anything, right? No, but you definitely you've got to have a philosophy. No, the thing is, my involvement to chess in itself was a very noble cause because the reason why I even started coaching chess, it was just a way of giving back. You see, I'm from a community that is always overlooked in terms of development, in terms of activities, in terms of sports and things like that, right? And the reason I started teaching chess or coaching chess to the kids was just so I could have something that I felt like I have given back. And if now I am eating with those people and I see that there's kids, the disadvantaged kids are still disadvantaged, and I'm eating with the people that are meant to be serving those kids. That means I'm taking away from those kids. That means my reasons for coming to church and leaving every other opportunity that could have been for me was futile, right? Like that is like it will mean that all of this other years from 2013 was just an exercise in futility. Because for me, it was to see this development happening, to see chess becoming because I always say that the more people fall in love with chess, the more there is something in chess for players, for anyone and everyone. The more we all become important, because if chess becomes important, I feel like I also become my value also increases as a person, right? But the thing is, when you are eating what needs to go into the community, what needs to grow the community, you're taking away from the community and the community doesn't grow. And your growth alone, if it doesn't affect the overall growth, like for those people that are taking, because now, for instance, let's look at the price. Let's look at the entry fees from tournaments that people are taking away, right? From those cash entries. That is the money that is meant to be used to give opportunities to underprivileged kids to go play national tournaments. Those national tournaments which are going to give them opportunity, even if not just opportunities to play further, but just give them an exposure to a world that they did not know from that community they come from. Because normally when you take kids from my community, like from Bomsokaba, where I'm from, and you take them to national or provincial tournaments somewhere outside, or to some big schools like your Curos and Uplands and private schools, when they come back seeming ambitious and excited about life, inspired. It just changes something in them, right? Like they start dreaming, right? You find them saying like, I want to go to a school like that. What does it take? I want to go to a place, like, what does it take? You see that? Like it just kind of builds something in them. So when that money has been taken and it can only benefit two people, instead of benefiting these junior players and offering them those opportunities without having to make them feel like they are beggars, because it sucks sometimes when we make the deserving players who have earned their spot at the top seem like they are beggars, seem like we're doing them favors by paying for them to go play in the nationals or in the international events. That's not fair. I mean, they shouldn't feel like that. We should know that by merit, if you qualify, if you're in the top three, you are entitled to certain privileges. Not that we're gonna do you a favor just because it's you, just because I like you. I'm gonna make sure that you get it. That's it. That's actually how some leaders act, right? Like how they behave. They like pull you to a side and say, just because I like you, just because you're a good kid, just because and that way they kind of make you feel indebted to them as a player. So instead of building you, they're breaking you. They're taking away something from you. So your ego kind of, yeah. I mean, we need our egos. So yeah, so I may have a philosophy. I think I do have a philosophy that I live by. Otherwise, I would not be hated by any of those. Like honestly, you come across anybody that tells you that they hate Eddie, find out the main reason why. Like go deeper, dig deeper. I'm like, nah, come on, why exactly do you hate him? And then if they give you a reason, think about that reason. Like I honestly want to know. But anyways, like I'm thinking to all of the people that have been, if somebody comes to you and they feel comfortable telling you that they hate me, they must have seen that you probably hate me too. So they're like, okay, here's a common whatever. So yeah, maybe one last question because I'm enjoying answering questions. Just Randy's again saying, big up my brother, post more videos. So yeah, I look forward to posting more videos. I'm gonna try and post more videos. I think I'm gonna, yeah. But well, you see, this may be the last soliloquy. How does that pronounce? I don't even know. Soliloquy. That's yeah. Because I intend to post videos when I'm speaking to people, when I'm interviewing people, individuals. But the funny thing about these lower rated 7 day players, they're not 7 day players, but this patterns is like they're not comfortable speaking. Like, what do I have? I'm like, no, don't worry, you'll be guided by my questions. We can speak, we can talk, we can have a conversation. But yep, that is it. Anyways, Mpumalanga just can't act on my suspension because they are waiting for instructions from the top, and the top also doesn't know what to do because they're realizing now that they are tied up, their hands tied, and all of that. So I don't know, but yeah, I am glad to have had this live with you. I'm just gonna post it without even sharing it. Whoever finds it finds it, and whoever doesn't find it does not find it. We can keep it a secret. Wait, I've got a question from, what's that? Shane Willenberg. What is he saying? Chris Peitze. What is Chris Peitze now? Is Chris Peitze the name of a person? Shane, would you care to clarify? Chris Peitze. Sometimes I'm very bad with names and spell and pronunciations of people's surnames. Message retracted. Peterson. Chris Peterson. Wait, what about Chris Peterson? Wait, are you speaking about Chris Peterson, Chris Peterson from Gatsibande, former administrator, former president, and yeah, I remember Chris. I know Chris. What about him? Tell me, what would you like to know about Chris? What is Chris saying? Or did Chris post something here? Yeah, Chris Peterson. What about Chris Peterson, Shane? Come, say something. What do you want to say about Chris? He's still involved. Oh no! See, we need if people like Chris Peterson were involved. I think Chris Peterson is a yeah. No, Chris Peterson is. I think he's. The last time I tried to speak to him, it was like no, because I've been trying to speak to people to come back to chairs, because to resuscitate. Remember when I was making the first initial videos, trying to find people that could actually resuscitate chairs in Mpumalanga, in regions and provinces and all of that. Remember, I took that initiative. I spoke to Chris Peterson and he was like, Eddie, I don't want to get involved in chess administration anymore, in chess politics. Nope. So he opted to not, but he said that he would still want to host the big tournament in Mpumalanga. He was my first coach when I played for Highfield. Chris is very passionate about chess. He says he still loves chess, but hey, he just doesn't want to get involved with it anymore. He just doesn't want to get involved with the politics. I don't know what he has seen, what he became aware of that kind of made him not want to be like again. But yeah, so for some reason, Chris no longer wants to. I'm trying to find this here. There it is. Yeah, no longer wants to be involved. Yeah, man. Chris Peterson hosted some of the biggest tournaments in Mpumalanga. We remember him. I know. I think I betrayed it. I worked with Chris Peterson a lot. So Chris had a backbone. You see, that's why they don't need people like that in chess, in these structures these days, right? They need people they can tell what to do. So no, Chris is no longer with us in chess. But obviously he's still around. Yeah. I'm sure he's a subscriber here because he told him he used to come and he used to contact me and tell me that, hey Eddie, I'm watching your, yeah. So no, yeah, he's here. Anything else? You see now, if there's questions, if there's people involved, I'm here for it. The video can be long, it can be whatever, but it's live anyways. What else would anybody want to know? Ah, la, 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 la. Yeah, and I've always wanted an interview with the Willenbergs, but hey, I was always hoping, I was just thinking that the best way to do interviews these days would be in person. But again, because the Willenbergs in the Western Cape, hey, there's a lot of them, and then all of them are dominating in some sphere, whether it's coaching. And I remember seeing Craig Willenberg kind of pulling some very strong performances in the Cape Town Masters Championships. Yeah, Cape Town Masters Challenge or something. I'm like, whoa. And then there was Kenny also doing, but obviously, hey, yo. And then there were the other, and then I remember Roland Willenberg always making players scream, VP, what's it? VP, whatever. I don't even remember what it is because most of it was in Afrikaans, right? Yeah, like it was. What was he screaming? Because hey, VP was always scooping all the medals in the national schools chess championships and even in the so yeah. So Roland was always leading that team as a coach, and I remember the VP was it VP, whatever. But yeah, you see now, like this as a family that's very rich in chess. Yeah, history. Right. So yes, Shane says it's good to hear that Chris is still around, even though he's no longer involved. But involved. He intends to get involved. He probably will when things are finally in order because things are now looking. Yeah, man. But yeah, if there are no other questions, this has been a live session on Chess and Wine with Eddie Pila. Yes, with me, Eddie Pila. Mtulo kamasombu, ngongoni, bongwakho lebofu. Bathini kambe uma macophizito bashinya. Hey. So yeah, thank you for watching. Good evening. Remember to subscribe because there's still going to be more to come from this channel. This has been it. This is it from me. Hey. Oh, yeah, wait. Let me see if I can share this. Let me see if I can show this. Wait. Does it? It's not clear enough, right? It's supposed to be clear, not the center thing. Yes. Because I mentioned while I was talking here that I am the former Ehlanzeni chess. Oh yeah, in 2014, senior champion. That was me. You see, I was a champion in 2014 of Ehlanzeni chess. There it is. There you get it. Not many people can claim that. Again, you wonder, why are they trying to stop me? No matter how hard you try, you can't stop us now. Ooh, boom, boom.